Foreign ministers from Ukraine, Egypt and the Philippines held bilateral meetings on Tuesday with Italian Foreign Minister Antonio Tajani on the sidelines of the G7 summit in Fiuggi, a few hours from Rome. The foreign ministers of the G7 industrialized countries gathered on Tuesday for the second day of meetings to tackle tense diplomatic issues including a possible ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon and Western support for Ukraine. Egyptian Foreign Minister Badr Abdelhadi reaffirmed that Cairo would host a minister-level conference next Monday on mobilizing international aid for Gaza. A ceasefire in Gaza and Lebanon was foremost on the agenda of the G7 meeting that gathered ministers from Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the United Kingdom and the United States, in the last G7 encounter of the Biden administration. For the first time, the G7 ministers were joined by their counterparts from Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Jordan, the United Arab Emirates and Qatar, the so-called Arab Quintet, as well as the Secretary-General of the Arab League. The G7 has been at the forefront of providing military and economic support for Ukraine since Russia's invasion in February 2022, and G7 members are particularly concerned about how a Trump administration will change the U.S. approach. At least 23 people were injured by a Russian missile attack on Kharkiv city center Monday morning. Kharkiv Mayor Ihor Terekhov said the attack on the city was carried out with a modified S-400 missile. The strike occurred in the central part of the city, in a densely populated residential area. The impact hit courtyards surrounded by multi-story buildings. Outbuildings and vehicles caught fire. All relevant services and volunteers are working on site, Terekhov wrote on his Telegram page on Monday morning. Homes and businesses were left flooded on Sunday as Storm Bert continued to batter communities across the UK. In West Yorkshire, one father described a terrifying moment he and his 11-month-old son escaped from a sinking car after it became submerged in floodwaters. According to British broadcaster Sky News, Andre Randalls was driving with his son Luca to his home in the town of Todmorden when he said the vehicle went into what he thought was a shallow puddle of water. The vehicle began filling with water and Randalls was able to wind down a window and get both him and the youngster to safety. I've carried him above my head to make sure he doesn't touch any of the water or anything to try and keep him dry and warm, he said as he described the ordeal. In the Welsh town of Pontypridd, houses and shops were flooded as residents struggled to evacuate the area and save some of their belongings. Some expressed their frustration over the defenses put in place by authorities to try and prevent homes from flooding.
A flood defence instead of a Harry Potter fence. Do your job, what we paid them money for.
As you can see, National Resources Wales have just replaced the railings back again. He doesn't do anything. As soon as he goes, he comes in through there
It
again.
looks nice.
8 o'clock this morning I was told to move my car, and I moved my car safely, but 8 o'clock this morning, but it was already coming in.
Yeah, so maybe on this side.
Well, I'm gutted. Obviously, it's how long is it going to take to sort it out? I mean,
I've carried him above my head to make sure he hasn't touched any of the water or anything to try and keep him dry and warm.
To think that I could have actually lost them both makes me a bit emotional. Yeah, it's really scary. It's just a horrible thing to think about, isn't it?
The water had messed up with the electricity in the car. I think now, like, would the windows have wound down? Would I have had to spend time trying to smash a window before the water got too high? It's scary to think about.
They know the wall, you know, needs hiring, but yet they're not prepared to put any funding into it. And every year, you know, we sit here in fear, not just us, you know, but the older people as well that live on here, and they sit there in fear every time it rains, it becomes heavy because they think they're going to get flooded.